From past couple of months, I've been wondering, what if I can kill enemies in real life? But I had no idea how to achieve it. I've been playing different kinds of first-person shooters, but didn't feel very much satisfied playing on screen. I wanted to get more immersed, so I tried virtual reality, but no luck. It's immersive, but still just a virtual world. I wanted to feel the power. I wanted the power that no one around me will ever have. So I decided to make a first-person AR shooter game. You'll ask, you'll still be playing on the screen. What's the point? Wait, I'm coming to that point. But first, let's make this game. In the previous Devlog, I worked on this game a little bit to actually see if AR works on my device. And it works. So I decided to polish this game a little bit and make it a playable prototype. First, I needed a game development document, which will be useful in the future development. So I spent a little bit time creating it. In this one, I listed out a couple of essential game mechanics, including mainly abilities the player will have like laser, shield and healing ability. I created an enemy structure and their stats, enemies IDs to make them more organizable in the project. Then their health as well as damage they will give to the player, and if they have projectile, and also how much XP the player will gain. Then next I created a level structure containing an average duration for the level, medals it needed to unlock and the enemies that the level contain. Then of course the economy structure, which contains main currency of the game and conversions as well as the upgrade system structure. At this point of time I didn't have any idea of if it's worth working on this AR project, but I did it anyways because it was fun working on this document. As you can see, there are a lot of things that I had to change in order to make everything work and look better. First of all, changing the weapon. So I started modeling a new gun and changed it from this to this. Much more practical now. For the character, I went to Mixamo and was kind of scrolling through the list. I found this mannequin which will be helpful for modeling reference. So I modeled the player around the mannequin. I mainly needed the arm as the game is in first person shooter. So I modeled those. For fingers, I simply selected an alternate face loops from the mannequin and I polished them a little bit. For the rigging, I used the same bone structure came with the mannequin and just modified a little bit. I don't need the lower body bones, so I deleted those. I duplicated the same rig that one will be used for animation, which consists all the IKs, drivers and other bone constraints which cannot be exported with the animation. So the game rig will be the one we're going to export for animation. For the weapon, I created this aim down sight crosshair which will animate when we aim. For texturing, I use a simple workflow. I don't really need a normal map for textures as the game is for mobile only. I simply used solid colors for the base color and a black and white combination for emissions. So I can change the emission color whenever I want and in playtime as well. Maybe for different skins or anything. We'll decide later. I need a couple of essential animations like player movement, weapon and ability animations. Idle and walk in player animation. For weapon, I needed a weapon fire, aim down sight and ADS fire. And for abilities, I needed healing, laser and shield. I animated everything. Idle, walk, weapon fire, ADS fire and abilities like healing, laser, shield. For main menu UI, I created a couple of temporary designs for buttons and button clicks. I chose to animate the button clicks in order to make them more responsive. Then I made a normal UI concept that would be in the game, like different stages and its difficulty levels. I decided to create three main type of enemies, which are enemy turret, laser rotor and flyby drones. I had created a turret in my previous game, so I grabbed the model and imported it into the current project. So I'm using these for just creating the concept. When I'm ready for the vertical slice, I'll be spending more time on creating and replacing these enemies with real one. The turret will spawn around the player and can throw a slow projectile that player can dodge by moving around physically. Then for drones, I created a simple model in Blender and textured it in the same way I textured the player and weapon. Then I created a flyby animation rig in Blender, animated it using curves. The drones will spawn on the player's last position and they will fly by player's position. They won't do any damage to the player because they will just fly above the player. Player can kill them to have more score. I created a couple of scripts for enemies, including enemy manager, which will handle the spawning of enemies, enemy stats for damage and health, enemy behavior and enemy projectile behavior. The enemy manager script will also be able to handle the difficulty level of the enemies, so it can upgrade enemy stats for each enemies to upgrade them in more difficult level. The third enemy is laser rotor. The concept of the laser rotor is that it will spawn around the player and it has 4 lasers attached to it. The rotor can rotate around itself. The laser will go through the player and can do damage. To dodge it, player needs to jump so it won't take any damage. The concept was nice, but when I tested it, it didn't quite work. Sometimes I wasn't able to get damage from the lasers, or sometimes I was just always getting damage, even if I was jumping. I think there was a little problem with the height, so I decided to try a different approach for laser rotors. I changed the laser rotors a little bit. From the ground I lifted the lasers, so now the lasers aren't on the ground but at the height of the player's head level. And when I tested it, it worked. So whenever the lasers are spawned, player can crouch in order to dodge them, and crouching was much better and easier approach for player than jumping. And voila! I have a working prototype. It's not very polished, but it's testable. Enemies spawn, I can kill them, I can move around to dodge enemy projectiles, kill the drones, I can even heal myself. And yeah, I'm still playing it on the screen, but it's like I have the power to see that others cannot. I can see what other people cannot, or they might think that I'm just insane. Anyway, I have uploaded the game and you can try it if you have an AR supported Android device. I'd love to hear your feedbacks. Also, I was deciding to make the collectibles that will spawn on the enemy's location when they die, and player needs to run towards the collectible in order to collect them. But I'm thinking to rather make collectibles go directly into the player's inventory when enemy dies, so the player will not need to run around. Let me know your thoughts on this one as well. What do you think will work? That will be so helpful. So like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe, and see you in the next one.